My name is Greg Allstreet. My club is and has been DVOA, and I have recently been selected as the new junior development coach by the board and others voting for me. So, the junior national program, we have two separate coaches right now. We have the head coach, who is Aaron Sherman, has been working as coach for several years now, and Aaron decided that it would be pretty effective to have two separate positions, one for development, specifically focused on the development team, and one focused a bit more on the national team. And we're working a little bit on responsibilities between that. But I'm here today to talk to you about our junior national program, which I'm still learning a lot of the ins and outs of, which I'm working on Aaron with bit by bit to really learn how everything's working. But what I would like to share with you today, we'll be talking about it now. Let's see how this, I don't like Max. Max don't like me. But yeah, so sorry, like I said, so we have Aaron Sherman as the head coach, myself, Greg Allstreet, a bit of our experience, and some of the ideas that we were basing this on was that Aaron is going to be based on the West Coast, I'll be based on the East Coast, and we'll be dividing up the rest of the country in a somewhat fair way between the two of us, so that neither of us have to travel too much, and we can focus our efforts better that way, and less on traveling between our enormous country and the various points in it. Both of us competed as juniors. Eric 1 year at Jaywalk, myself twice at Jaywalk. He's been head coach of the junior team for 6 years. Both of us competed in university sports in cross country and track, and I've continued competing on the senior team, and Eric since then has focused his efforts on coaching. So moving on, and which I want to focus on is that the obstacles for U.S. juniors. Okay. So there's large distances, few competitors in certain areas, difficult to get juniors together, socializing, few training opportunities. And now, I've seen some of you looking at this photo, right? And what exactly is this picture? Well, okay, so there's me, right? And this is at one of the events. Oh, what year was it? Back in 2006, 2007 in Laramie. Okay. And I wanted to use this picture because for me it was one of the events that illustrated, as a junior, how difficult it is for American juniors pretty often. Okay, now, I mean, you look at this. This is a good group of juniors here. You know, this is what we might call a critical mass of juniors, but this is everyone from all around the country, just happening to be at this one event, which is great. This is wonderful, but how sustainable is it? You know, and how many people can really get to be part of the junior national program when we're doing this? So. You know, Aaron and I, we'd love to have a group like this more often. What's difficult is getting us all together, and so that's what I say is the large distances, the few competitors. You know, if we were all in the same place, it'd be easy. But this is the type of stuff that I'd like to recreate for our juniors now, and that's where we get to our vision for the future and a little bit of what we can do. Okay, to create more groups and overcome those obstacles that I mentioned. Okay, and now I'm gonna go into each of these in more detail. But yeah, so our vision for the future is some of our ideas. The key ones being, for example, regular training camps on East Coast and West Coast, because, like I said, it's great for all of us to get out together in Laramie. But for even me from Philadelphia, Tori Borge from Seattle, you know, it's like all of us somehow coordinating. That was just a miracle that happened. And that can't be the case if we're going to make something consistent and sustainable. So I'm focused on organizing training camps on the East Coast and everywhere in between. Aaron's focused on the West Coast. I'm working with Boris recently within the existing infrastructure of the QOC training camp in March. So those are the things that we're going to try to leverage to build on, and create these opportunities for socialization and competition for our juniors. Okay, connecting with regional coaches. I don't want to go into it too far because I'm going to explain it now, but we can see it here. Just our vision for the future. Okay, now this is something that is a project of mine, and I've mentioned it to Barb and Boris so far, I think, and it's my what I've called my junior MAP program. Okay, and for me, it's very, very important that each junior, and I'm basing this on my own experience going from junior to senior, it's very important that each junior have access to a map, okay? And I do not mean just have a map nearby. You know, that's because I think there's lots of times where we have maps nearby, but I mean have access to a map file that they can go into Purple Pen and print out a course, or even just print out a PDF and draw points on a map. That is fundamental to me, because if they're not doing that, if they don't have a map, they can't partake in our sport, okay? Now, I have a few options to fill this objective, like I said. Okay, so my descending order of preference, my goal is to work with local clubs to lend map files to juniors. We've already done this once with one of Boris's athletes, Turner, who we spoke with QOC, and they gave him the map right next to his house, and we've been setting courses for him since then, and I'm teaching him how to set good courses to train on. Okay, that's the goal. But then some juniors are several hours away from maps, right? Okay, and that's not always a sustainable solution either. Next solution, Cartable Alton. I'm sure some of you have had some experience with this. I have been fortunate enough to learn how to make pretty decent maps with Cartable Alton, and I'd like to use those skills. This image is from a map I made actually yesterday in about 5 hours. And this is a map that I spoke with the Fork Union Military Academy, who was up at Mount Penn, and they have no maps near them, none at all. So I'm making a map for them right now. And it's actually a great forest, beautiful, lots of trails. This is the first, I haven't put the trails on yet, but I'm getting to that. But this is something that we can get for all our juniors, and it requires very little investment. You know, I need the LiDAR data near it to do it, but that's something I can work on.
Is that related to Cartable Alton?
What's it?
That right there?
This is made by it, yeah. No, I produced this with Cartable Alton, yeah.
Well, you've never been there.
No, never been there. So that's why it's such a powerful tool for us, because we do have LiDAR data in many places throughout the country, and as long as I can get access to it, and it's relatively recent, we can produce a pretty decent map out of it. Yes, one question? Yeah.
Yeah, that's not the actual product from Cartable Alton, right? That's after it's been OCADified and stuff?
No.
Really? It's that?
Yeah. No, I haven't touched this at all. This is what I produced from it. So that's the thing, is it's not so okay. It looks great, you know, you have green and stuff, but keep in mind when you go out with the map and you go out and you're actually running around with it, there's some stuff that might look a little funny out there. But
it's good stuff. For
all of our juniors, for the juniors who don't have any map at all, this is much better than anything, nothing at all. Okay. So like I said, the goal for me first, an actual map, because that's what like an actual orienteering field check map. In the absence of that, Cartable Alton is a great tool for us. It was a great tool for me. I continue to use it if there's an area that I want to check out in my own training, and I think juniors can use that too. And once again, no investment, no extra money that needs to be put into that. That's just time, and I set my computer up to run overnight, and it goes and produces its files, and I have it done. Unfortunately, the United States is big, and not our entire country is covered by LiDAR. So in absence of even LiDAR, at the very least, we can use Open Orienteering Map to create sprint maps. And very often people have put the buildings onto areas, and if not, I might spend a few hours digitizing buildings from what I can get from satellite view. All that to say, my goal is to make sure that each junior has a map to train on, at least one, multiple if possible, and perhaps further down the line I'll teach them how to use Cartable Alton, but that's another project. Right now I just prefer to do it myself and give them the map. Okay, moving on. Okay, training camps. Once again, a lot of my stuff as coach is based on my own experience. This photo, I specifically chose this photo because it is from Hickory Run. It is from DVOA's Hickory Run training camp, which is where I grew up in September. Every September we would do the training camp out there, and that was vital for me as a junior orienteer. It was the first time I met Eric Bone. And I went into the forest with him and another junior orienteer, and I think we broke him there. He fell down and hurt his knee, but that was very important for me, because it was the training camps, that's where we get people together. You know, that's where we get to socialize, I got to interact with a senior team member who I actually compete with now, and yeah, no, I mean that's why it's so important. So that's why having two coaches and based in separate parts of the country. I'm good here, right? I can stand here. Like here.
Oh yeah.
Okay. So having two coaches in separate parts of the country, we don't have to travel as much. We have promising opportunities at Harriman, QOC, and a few other places. QOC, like I said, in Prince William Forest down here, that camp already exists, and I'm just hoping to take over a lot of the course setting responsibilities. Harriman, Aaron and I are going to be working on Worth AMC to get some reduced rates for the lodging there, and they provide food. So that's one less layer of logistics that we have to deal with. That's a lot easier. Okay, regional coaches. I think a lot of people know this gentleman here, correct? So this is Greg Balter, who for me is the ideal model of a regional coach. You know, he's with him and Boris and many other people. I think these are the people that I have to be working with, who are familiar and excited about juniors in their area. Not you two, guy. Not taking you out of that yet. So central. Well, the idea is that Aaron and Greg will be the central points of contact for regional coaches who can provide a bit of guidance and also be organizing the training camps that they can bring their athletes to. Okay. So that's another action point for us. Trying to go quickly here, but the skills and habits of elite orienteering. This is important for me to teach to the junior orienteers, because what we've been seeing, as I spoke with Boris about this morning, is that we've been losing junior orienteers when they go from junior to senior, and that's because, for better or for worse, there's not much support on the senior team. You know, you can do what you want, but there's very little support coming your way when you compare to juniors. A lot of what we need to do as a senior orienteer is self-coaching. So I don't, when these juniors graduate from being, you know, juniors to seniors, what I would want is them to have the support coming from themselves, knowing how to do course review, how to set a course for themselves, and placing it, properly physically preparing themselves, and supporting themselves with those skills, okay? And really connecting course review and setting a course for themselves, because if they learn course review, they know how to set a course that will correct the mistakes they've been making, and just continuing on the cycle from there. And final one, annual fundraising race. Spoke with Alex about this the other day. A goal for me is next fall. I'm gonna have to work with this with DVOA or HBO probably, but I would like to hold a billy goat style race in Harriman or the surroundings.
It's called the Highlander.
Right. I don't know if I'm ready. I don't know if I'm ready for the logistics of a Highlander just yet. I chose a billy goat, and I'm not trying to take away from the Highlander either. I think we can do both. But I chose a billy goat because lots of Europeans in my time in Europe, asked me about running a billy goat. The problem is that running it in the spring is right in the middle of racing season for a lot of Europeans. Yeah, so a lot of Europeans have asked me about billy goats and would like to run billy goats, but since they're usually held in the spring, it's difficult for them since that's like prime European racing season. So I'm not trying to take away from the Highlander, I'm not trying to take away from the normal billy goat, but I'd like to hold a fall goat as a fundraising race for the juniors. A few reasons. This is based on a few things. Flights to New York City right now are really cheap from Europe. I think from when I was living in Madrid, round trip flights were about 350 euros round trip, which is amazing. So yeah, trying to leverage the tourism appeal of New York City, cheap flights to New York City, opportunities to run the walk courses. I'll probably put out streamers on the long and the short distance, maybe the relay also. And yeah, a chance to take part in a traditional American event that loads of people have heard about and don't really understand, but would like a chance to do it. And I think there's I think there's a way that I can work with HBO to time it correctly with the Highlander for maybe to get some more people who are willing to stick around an extra week or something. We can choose weekends about that. But I think it's important to start a fundraising race for the juniors. I think it's a really, really powerful tool to get funds going. And I think it's also something that I'd like to see grow over the years, particularly as a tourism tool from European orienteers. I've seen it work in Spain. Loads and loads of people go to Spain now. and I have a few contacts with the travel companies there, so I think I would be able to get a bit of promotion for the race with those people. So, like I said, those are a few of our action items. We have a few more projects on the line, but those are our main points, and that's pretty much it for now. So, thank you.
Greg,
Yes.
I think it might be useful for your audience to know about how a kid gets into the junior national program, and then development versus other. And
Well, right now we have we've just come out with the application. We're about to publish it. I don't think we can go public yet, but we have an application program for the junior national program, and you can decide in that when you're applying whether you would like to be on the junior national team or the junior development team, or you have a little section where it says JNT or JDT. Yes, okay.
That's actually taking a few steps backward, because we're going to try to make it clearer.
Yeah, so it's, if you select the junior national team, then there's a supplementary little bit that we need more information on.
But seen the application.
No, I was watching it the other day. I didn't see the supplementary stuff, but I've seen the application. So that information will be made available.
It may be worth emphasizing that anyone is welcome to apply for the junior development team. It is not an elite sort of thing. We're trying to build the base there.
Yeah, no, and those are the people. The junior development team are the people I will be specifically working with.
Greg, quick question.
Yeah.
What would you say are the prerequisites? What do you need to put on a training camp? Say someone wants to put on a training camp somewhere in the U.S.
Okay, prerequisites for putting on a training camp. First one, a map. Second would be, I would hope for inexpensive lodging at some location. If there's places to prepare food, that's pretty good. Because it really is, I mean, it's the basic stuff. I mean, just if you have a whole bunch of people in one location for a weekend, you need a campground or anything like that. State parks are usually great options for that. That's why Hickory Run was such a good option. They have the cabin camp up there. Prince William, the same thing. They have loads of cabins and things like that. So, and then prerequisites, maybe just lots of juniors and lots of people are interested. Families get in contact with JROTC and Scouts, and there's ways to get a lot of people out there. Right?
I would also add one more thing to that, and that's properly timed advertising.
Yeah.
I think a lot of training camps go on, and maybe 4 or 5 organizers know they're happening, but then 2 weeks before, hey, we're having a training camp, everyone should come. So if you can do that 2 months before, then you can ensure, or a year before, ensure participation.
Yes, no, obviously that's important too, of course.
So traditionally the focus for the junior national team has been kind of getting on the JWalk team and getting to JWalk. I expect that the junior development team is probably something else. Can you talk a little bit about how you will focus the training for the junior development team?
So the junior national team, what we've decided is we're expecting more of a commitment from the people who want to be on the junior national team. We're expecting commitment to training and whatnot, and we're not expecting the same level of commitment from the junior development team. The junior development team, what we're aiming for that is it's more people who are interested in improving in orienteering, interested in having more opportunities to orienteer, and guidance to do so. So, there's a lot of people. There's a few, in the few weeks I've been working as the development coach, there are a few people I've spoken with, kids who are a bit on the fence right now about whether they really want to continue orienteering and if they want to do it at an elite level. And that's where I've been trying to sell them with the development, where I say, listen, you don't have to commit to training full-time as an elite orienteer. You don't have to go to international competitions, but if you do want to take a step forward in the development program, I can coach you and I can tell you what to do there. And so that's more where we're focused on the development team. Any other questions? Any other comments? No, we're good? Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Greg.